Hello, Consciously Parenting family, and welcome to the Conscious Coffee Break for this week. I'm Jen Kobrick. I'm a holistic family consultant with the Consciously Parenting Project, and today we're talking about failure. And I know that's everybody's favorite thing when it happens, right? But happen it does. No matter how conscious we become, no matter how many wonderful tools we learn, we all fail sometimes at parenting the way we want to. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So if you're watching live, say hi. If you have questions or comments or anything, please put those down in the comments and I will see them. And if you have questions or anything, I will respond to them. And if you're watching later, feel free to ask your questions too, and I should get notifications about those and come back and answer them. Okay, so the idea that we're talking about today is about how to succeed at failing. Because like I said, we all have days where things don't go as planned, or moments where we don't respond the way that we intend to, right? And those moments become less frequent the more we practice. You know, the more natural this kind of parenting becomes, the less often that we have those moments, but they never go away completely because as our kids grow, they hit new phases of development. And as we heal and work through things, we hit new layers of our own stuff. And the two always are combining in new and different ways. So we're always finding new triggers. We're always finding new challenges. We're always finding stuff we haven't figured out yet. And so all of those things are going to mean that there's times when we lose it. So, so this idea for this topic comes from a really wonderful therapist that I worked with a while ago. And at the time, I was really focused on how do I stop getting upset with my child? You know, how do I stop being triggered? And you know, I had a lot of tools. I had already been working with the Consciously Parenting Project for a while, and I had a lot of tools. I had a lot of information. I had a lot of support, and yet I still just found I was in this phase if there was a new trigger that I hadn't figured out how to, you know, how to excavate and how to work through. And so I just found myself triggered a lot. And I came to this session saying, how do I stop doing that? You know, when I feel that way, how do I not, you know, yell at my kid? How do I not take it out on him? And she said, well, yeah, I mean, that's a good goal. And, you know, and we can talk about some strategies for in that moment. She's like, but ultimately, sometimes you're going to get mad. Sometimes you're going to get triggered. And when that happens, what do you want that to look like? You know, instead of viewing that as, okay, now I failed, and now we go down the failure shame spiral, right? Of, oh, I failed, maybe I can't do this conscious parenting thing. You know, maybe I'll never be able to do this. You know, I thought I had the hang of this, and you know, and here we go, down and down, right? And that's not helpful. That's not helpful to anybody. So she said, so how do you want it to look? How can we reframe that failure to respond as intended in a way that it's still a success, right? And so at the time, I made a list of some criteria. And so exactly what your list might be is going to depend on where you're starting from. So, and it's going to depend on what happens for you and for your child when you get dysregulated and you lose it. So as a like absolute baseline, a successful failure looks like keeping bodies safe. So both not hitting or spanking my child, but also not allowing him to hit or bite or kick me. So a baseline is bodies are kept safe. And then it could look like there could be a goal of a successful failure means screaming into a pillow or up at the sky instead of at the child. Or a successful failure could look like yelling, I'm mad and I can't take this right now, instead of screaming something that is blaming and shaming the child, like, how could you do this? Those are all examples of, you know, not the loving, kind, calm response we might hope for on our best days, but a baseline of this is how we fail in a way that doesn't damage people. So yeah, so the invitation here is to reflect on, you know, yeah, what is the best case scenario? You know, you recognize, oh, I'm starting to get dysregulated and frustrated, and you take some deep breaths and slow everything down and connect, and nobody ever blows up, right? That's great. And that can definitely happen a lot of the time with practice. But then, okay, so that didn't happen. And now we're at the blowing up part. You know, how can blowing up be done in a way that contains everybody's safety and feelings as much as possible? And then another piece of this, which is a whole nother video, or possibly multiple videos, is the part about repair. You know, so when you've lost it, whether it's a successful failure or not, then how do you come back and reconnect and apologize and rebuild the trust and connection? So like I said, that's a whole nother topic that we're not going to get totally sidetracked into today. So yeah, I want to invite you to reflect on what happens for you when you get really dysregulated, when you blow up, when you lose it, and how would you like that to look, and make a plan. You know, make a plan for when you realized that you're in a red light brain state and you've lost it, and how do you want that to look? And then practice that. Practice reframing that as, instead of a failure, as a, oh, look at that. I got really triggered today and I totally lost it, and I didn't yell at my kid, you know, and reinforce that that is a success. That is progress. And that's actually really huge progress, because not only in that are you keeping your child safe and yourself safe, but you're also modeling for your child that, look, even adults are not perfect. Adults lose it. Adults have tantrums. Adults get dysregulated. Adults get angry. Adults get frustrated and disappointed. And we feel all of these feelings, and we don't have to hurt people with those feelings. So you're modeling for your child that even when you have gone totally off the deep end, that it is possible to do that without hurting anybody. If you're watching live, or if you're watching later, feel free to put in the comments if you have an idea about what a successful failure would look like for you. And if you're having trouble thinking of that, or if you're having trouble imagining yourself doing something different in that dysregulated state, then comment that as well. And I'd love to, you know, have a little back and forth if there's questions or comments. And I will go take a look and see if there are comments. And while I'm doing that, I want to say that another really great resource, if this is sounding really familiar and you're thinking, there's a lot of losing it happening at my house, or I really don't know what to do with it when I or my child loses it, then this is your very last chance to join the Listening to Feelings course. It's pay what you can. You can join us for as little as $10 a month. And the first content will go out on Friday, so 2 days from now. So this is really and truly your very last chance to get in on that before we close the doors for the rest of this year. All right, let's see here if there's anything from anybody else. And if you have questions about the course, you're welcome to post those as well. The course link is also in the description for the video, and I can put that in the comments. Last week, it seems like it was a little bit hard for people to find that link, so maybe I will go ahead and post it again as well. So I'm taking a look here to see if there's comments, and I'm not seeing any so far, but I will post that link and hang out for a minute here to see if there's anything more that anybody has questions about. Let's see, Natalia says, taking a pause and a big, big, deep breath when I go to red light is what helps me reconnect with reality and choose what is important for us at that moment. Yeah, and we did another video a few weeks ago about the pause. So anybody who has not watched that video, I definitely invite you to go check out the videos tab and watch it, because we talked in detail about what that pause looks like and how you can work towards being able to take that pause and that big deep breath in that dysregulated state. Because I can imagine that for parents who are newer to this, that the idea of being able to stop and take breaths when they're in the middle of losing it is probably sounds impossible. And it is impossible to jump right from, you know, losing it all the time and yelling at your kids to, you know, taking a deep breath and regulating in the middle of all of that. So yeah, but it is really a powerful tool once you get to that point. It can be a really powerful tool to just not lose it so much, right? Which is ultimately easier on everybody, right? That's easier on our kids, it's easier on us, there's less repair that's needed. Yeah. All right, let's see, here is the link for the course. And I will put that listening to course. So that is in there. All right. Check this comments here one more time. And like I said, if you're watching later and you want to come back and ask your questions then, that's totally fine. And we should get notifications about them. So, all right. I hope everyone is having a lovely day, and I wish you a wonderful week. And those of you who are in the membership, I look really forward to starting that content with you on Friday and really diving into how we can help you and support you and your families. And I will see you all next week. Oh, and I forgot to mention one more piece of business is that the Conscious Coffee Break is going to be changing from a live format to a premiere format, which just means that the video can be recorded anytime, but then it'll be posted at the time of the coffee break. So it'll still be posted to watch for the very first time at the same time each week. It just won't necessarily be recorded live. And we're doing that because several other of our holistic family consultants have expressed interest in recording videos, and we each kind of have different topics or areas of interest. And I really want to open up this coffee break to have you hear more perspectives and have you hear about some of the topics. And some of the topics that people have asked us to cover are things that I don't have a lot of experience with, but that other consultants in the organization do. But not everybody is on the same time zone. Not everybody is available to record live at this time, or feels comfortable with going live on a video. So we might still go live occasionally, but we're gonna switch to a format where people can record at whatever time works for their schedule and their time zone. And that way we can bring you a broader range of topics, and you can hear from everyone at the Consciously Parenting Project. So if you have more ideas for show topics, please let us know that too, and we will make sure that we get answers to all of your questions. All right. Have a lovely week, and I will see you next Wednesday.